Well, thank you all for your very warm welcome, not just today, but yesterday and all over the weekend. It's great to be here with you. I'm sorry I don't speak Norwegian. I wish I could, but I can't. And because I travel a lot, I would have to learn not just Norwegian, but many other languages too. So thank you for your understanding and for your patience. And I bring greetings from my wife, first of all, Vivian. She's in Spain. We live in Spain. She's at home, and she sends her love and her greetings. Usually she travels with me, but sometimes she's not able to for different reasons, so I'm here on my own this time. We would like to come back again together just to visit you sometime. I also bring you greetings from EMF. So EMF, I'll be saying a few words about EMF in a moment. European Mission Fellowship, and we're really happy to be in a partnership with you as a church. We feel that we are working together for the same purpose, which is for the gospel to reach more and more people in this area and in many other areas too. And it's a privilege for us as a missionary organization to be in fellowship with you as a church here in this part of Norway. Let me also bring greetings from the church we are part of in Spain. So we are members of a church in the center of Spain. Madrid is in the center. We're 200 kilometers south of Madrid. It's a place which is hard to say, even for us. Ciudad Real is the name of the place. It means royal city. And many years ago, in 1988, I became a pastor of this church where we are today. I was a pastor there for 16 years. And then we moved to another church in another part of Spain, but now we're back in the church where we were all those years ago. We have 3 children and 6 grandchildren, and most of them live near to us. They all live in Spain, but most of them live very near to where we live in central Spain. So whenever I travel, or whenever Vivian and I travel together, the church where we are in Spain always says to us, please pass on our greetings to our brothers and sisters where you're going. So I pass on to you the greetings of the church there in central Spain. And let me also congratulate you for today, such a special day for you here in Norway. I'm so glad that Martin suggested that if I came in May, this would be the best weekend for me to come. Because of the meaning of today for all of you here in Norway. So I feel it's been an honor just to participate in some way in your special day and see the train, as you call it, and just see what happens in Norway on the 17th of May each year. Just to be a part of that has been very special. So congratulations on this special day for your country, your nation. I'll just say, I thought I would be having to be translated into Norwegian, so I may be speaking quite briefly because I've left time for somebody to be here translating me, and now there isn't anybody here translating me, so this could end up being quite a short meeting, at least from my point of view. So Martin suggested that I could say a little bit about EMF and then maybe a few thoughts from the Bible. So that's what I'll try to do now. So regarding EMF, as Martin said earlier, and as I said a few moments ago, the 3 letters EMF in this case stand for European Mission Fellowship, and those 3 words summarize why EMF exists. We are a fellowship or a family committed to mission, supporting mission in Europe. So We're currently working in around 20 countries in Europe, so we still have a long way to go. Officially, there are 44 countries in Europe. Depends how you count which countries are in Europe. Part of Turkey is in Europe, part of Russia is in Europe, part of Armenia is in Europe, so maybe there are more than 44 countries in Europe, but there are at least 44, and EMF is working in around 20 of those countries. And what we do basically is help churches. So we always say EMF is not a church, but God has chosen to use churches like your church here to spread the gospel. So EMF exists purely to help churches like your church spread the gospel here or in other parts of Europe. So that's how we see our role. I often say EMF exists to help churches in Europe fulfill the Great Commission. The Great Commission is to make disciples, to make followers of Jesus all over the world. And so EMF exists to help churches like your church here do that. Evangelize, share the gospel, proclaim the gospel, so that people can hear the gospel and believe and become followers of Jesus, true disciples. And so we have been helping churches in Europe to do that. We've been doing that for 67 years. EMF came into being in 1959. So just over 67 years ago, we've been helping churches all over Europe. Sometimes EMF does support what nowadays we call cross-cultural missionaries. I don't know whether you're all familiar with that idea. A cross-cultural missionary is a Christian who leaves his or her own culture and country and goes to a different country with a different culture, and so they share the gospel about Jesus in a different country from their own country. So we refer to them as cross-cultural missionaries. They change their place, their culture, to tell people about Jesus in some other country and in some other culture. And EMF does that as well. And my wife and I are an example of that, because in 1983 we left our country and our culture in Britain, in the UK, United Kingdom, and we moved to Spain with our young family. We had two little boys. One was 2.5, one was just 6 months old, and we moved to Spain as missionaries. So in that sense, we changed our country and our culture, and we became more Spanish. We lived in Spain. We became integrated in Spanish life. So we were cross-cultural missionaries because of the change of country and culture. But most of the people that EMF helps are not like that. Most of the people we help are Christians, pastors, evangelists, church planters working in their own countries and in their own culture. So Martin is an example of that, because for a few years we've been helping Martin, helping you as a church, so that Martin could give at least part of his time each week to his ministry among you in the church. So we feel that we're helping to make that possible, maybe in a small way from our point of view, but we love to support Norwegians in Norway and Portuguese in Portugal and Polish people in Poland, because those people know their own countries well. They know the culture, they speak the language, they understand the difficulties. And so for us to help people like that seems to make sense, which is what we have always tried to do. So 80% of the people that we help are people like Martin, working in their own country, in their own culture, and bringing the good news about Jesus to the local people in that particular place. So that's the way that we like to work as a missionary organization. So we see ourselves as partners with you in the gospel, partners in the gospel. And you are a young church. If I am not mistaken, I think your church is probably now 9 years old or 10 or something like that. And so you're still a relatively young church, and often young churches need help for different reasons until the work becomes more established. So again, we hope that any help we can give will help this church to become, in time, more established, more stable. And so that's why we are excited to be working together with you in what you are doing. And what we're doing here with you, we're doing with over 100 missionaries all over Europe in those 20 countries where we're working. I should just say that regarding Ukraine, so in Ukraine we have 3 families that we're supporting and have been for more than 20 years in 2 of those cases. But when the full-scale invasion of Ukraine took place just over 4 years ago, we felt that we had to do something more to help believers and churches in Ukraine. So we immediately began to look for churches and pastors and so on that we could help in Ukraine, even if it's just for a temporary situation of war. But as long as the war is continuing, we feel that we should help the churches in that terrible situation in Ukraine. Vivian and I have been to Ukraine twice during the war, and we've seen with our own eyes the churches and the destruction and the killing and all that is happening in Ukraine. And EMF is currently helping more than 20 additional workers so that we can free them up from having to work in some normal job. They can give themselves to, evangelism and disciple making and planting churches. It's been exciting seeing, even during a war situation, new churches are being planted all the time across Ukraine. I could mention a church where I preached actually 1.5 years ago in Ukraine, and that was a church that at the time when I was there was only 2 years old. It had been planted 2 years before, and now that church is planting other churches already. And we're seeing that happening again and again. Another church we've been helping in Kyiv, the capital of Ukraine. It was a church that was in the east of Ukraine when the full-scale invasion took place, and the whole church moved further west. They became internally displaced people, but it was an internally displaced church. The whole church uprooted and moved further west, and they replanted their church in Kyiv. Well, now that church, having replanted itself in Kyiv, they have just planted another brand new church in another area of Kyiv. So we're also helping our brothers and sisters in Ukraine at this time of war. So basically, I'll not say that much more about EMF, but the way that EMF works is actually quite simple. We create partnerships between churches mostly in the UK and then sister churches in other countries, other parts of Europe, and we try to encourage them to get to know each other better. We encourage the churches in the UK to actually go to Norway or go to Poland and visit the churches in person and build real relationships. It's not just about sending money. It is about sending money, but it's more than just sending money. It's about building real, lasting relationships between sister churches. And so EMF acts as a kind of coordinator between churches in the UK and churches in other places, and we do the introductions, and then we let them build those relationships in different ways. So it's exciting to be part of that. And so we're just a channel by which different churches can be helping each other and encouraging each other in what they're doing. So anyway, when this meeting finishes, please feel free to come up to me and talk to me if you have any questions about EMF or whatever. I will try to answer any questions you may have. And as I say, greetings from everyone at EMF. I'm technically now retired. So since the 30th of April, 3 weeks ago nearly, I'm no longer working for EMF officially, but I had one more important visit to do, and that was to come to see you here. And so I'm really glad that I came and was able to meet you in person. It's great to be able to do that.